In this video, I am discussing the law of reversibility. This is a very powerful concept from Neville Goddard that is going to help us to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in the most genuine and effortless way possible. To really understand the law of reversibility, it's helpful to think about the idea of how everything in the universe is interconnected in some way, shape, or form. For example, we can think about the concepts of cause and effect, energy and matter, action and reaction. These concepts are clearly dependent on one another. Just like the cause leads to the effect also leads to the cause. And just like energy leads to matter, matter also leads to energy. This is where the reversibility element of the law of reversibility comes in. A leads to B. Well, if that's true, then B also leads to A. The specific concept that we are going to focus on is physical fact leads to an emotional state. If a physical fact can create an emotional state, then if we were to reverse that order, that would mean that an emotional state can create a physical fact. The idea of a physical fact creating an emotional state within us is a very straightforward and almost like a no-brainer idea to accept. That feels completely normal. But when we reverse that order, the idea that our emotional state creates a physical fact or has the ability to create and shape our reality, now that feels a bit more foreign. That doesn't feel natural. It almost feels like we're joking ourselves. There's something that feels very just not right about that. This is where the genius behind the law of reversibility comes in. We have essentially reversed the order of how this concept works. It shouldn't be that our physical reality leads to an emotional state, although it does. I mean, that's totally normal. It's almost like we've lost how the truth of this concept and the real power behind it is that our emotions are the creative and magnetic element in this whole concept. Neville is trying to give us some sort of wake-up call of wake up, you guys. You've been thinking backwards this whole time. Your emotions are not just this huge inconvenience and depending on the emotion, instead of kind of living in limbo of not allowing ourselves to feel as good or as happy, as joyful as we could. It's just because we're waiting for our desired reality to actually take place. And then we allow ourselves to feel all of the wonderful and good emotions. And typically, unfortunately, that tends to be short-lived when you really think about it, because it's not really the norm for us. Feeling good becomes conditional, and we typically always tie it to the accomplishment of whatever it is that we want. Neville he literally doesn't advocate that. So when you think about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled in this light, it makes everything click. Feeling good in your day-to-day life and just going about your day, it feels so much more like there is purpose behind it, and it is powerful, and you realize, wait, there is energy and magnetism behind my emotions. And I may not know all of the ins and outs about how this works, but that's okay. I don't technically have to. The vibe is very much trust the process. To get more specific with this concept, we can think about the following. If your realized desire creates a definite feeling within, then the opposite would mean that a definite feeling within creates the realization of your desires. It's pretty much the same concept as like I described earlier, but this is just getting more specific to you seeing the connection between your literally getting what you want and how the origin really does come down to your feelings. This is why Neville is always urging us to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's not to, well, not to be a nuisance. To take this to another level, we have to sustain the feeling of the wish fulfilled. We have to maintain this feeling, all of these positive and empowering feelings to the best of our ability. To take it back to the beginning of this video of like how the law of reversibility is going to help us to effortlessly and like authentically assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it's going to be in the following way. And it's very, very simple, but powerful. Think about something in your life that is, it's either one, a physical reality, or two, it's a realized desire. What emotions come up for you? Of course, I can't say specifically how you feel, but when something is a reality in our life, typically, emotionally speaking, we feel very balanced. Like we're not overly excited, and we're clearly not feeling like depressed or negative, or like about having that as true for us, because well, it's something we desired. So that's one aspect of it. When that comes up for you, it's like a normal thing. We feel very centered and grounded. Like we're not in disbelief. Dwell on those feelings for a bit. And now for this next part, you are going to think about a desire that you currently have, and now assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now this should at this point be very simple, because you were already assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled for something in your life that is literally, it's a fact, like it's done, it's a reality for you. So now when you focus your thoughts and your energy on something that you want, you are literally assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I do think that there is an action component of some type is going to take place. But I think the difference is to understand that you're not necessarily attributing all of the power to the action component. You're really realizing that the power is originating within you, and that any action that has to take place or that takes place along the way, it's just going to feel like a lot more natural, and like you're just being drawn closer and closer to whatever it is you want. The law of reversibility beautifully illustrates that there is purpose behind our emotions, and it's not just some like random exercise that we're just doing just so we can feel good and have like a more positive day. This goes far deeper than we may realize. It is like you are energetically drawing in the things, the life, the traits, the qualities that you want. You're just going to go about your business, go about your day with a totally different energy behind everything that you do, the way that you show up. Your vibes are going to be different. They're going to be a lot more powerful and magnetic. Just give it a try for yourself. Thinking about the law of reversibility and this whole concept, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it feels so much more authentic, and it really does feel more effortless. This is really the secret sauce, and it's so simple. It really is so simple. I hope this video helps you in some way. Thank you so much for watching.